Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's interview with Foon Chik. We are really, really honored, Foon, to have you with us today. We're very excited. We've been looking forward to hearing from you, and we have so many questions for you, myself, as well as all the members of my Thrive Academy. So, Foon, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Your time is valuable, so we really honor you and your willingness to be interviewed by us today. So welcome to today's interview.
Thank you, Connie. It's an honour and a privilege to be able to share some of what I do with your wonderful tribe.
Yeah, well, we're delighted. So thank you so much. So really, the reason why we reached out to you is because you posted an amazing gift for us in our Facebook group, Thrive Being You. And there was quite a great response from our members. And I thought, okay, well, there's some questions that I couldn't answer that they were asking me. And I think this is what's beautiful about Heart of Collaboration is, knowing that there are people out there who can add value. And it's just about being open. So it's really great how we connected. We first met at a Global Women event, didn't we? I think we've been to a few together, and then now we're collaborating with this interview. So it's interesting how the world works. Do you have any we need to introduce you, yes, but before we do that, any ideas on like how is it that people, it's kind of like a God incidence. I like to call it a God incidence. There's no coincidence. Everything just happens in the divine time for us, like the perfect time for you. Do you have any thoughts on the idea of connecting and why we connect with people and divine timing?
Yes, I'd love to share a Chinese philosophical view on that.
Sure.
In the Chinese view of the world is that there's an idea of destiny, but there's also another idea of predestiny. And predestiny, we describe it as having invisible cords that connect us. And it's a bit like in the old-fashioned ballroom, you have a card where you write down who you're going to dance with.
Yes.
And the idea of predestiny is that you have you're given a dance card, so you know you're going to be dancing and enjoying the dance, and there's names on these dance cards, and you don't always know who these people are when you come for this lifetime. You come with your dance card, it's got these names on, and to some extent you're not even aware of the names on a conscious level. But what happens is, as you finish one dance with one person, as you go to different ballrooms, as you go to different dances, you come across people that are on your dance card, and you might think, oh, I've just met this person and we're going to sort of share some time together, have a dance together. But actually, the people that you dance with have been predestined on your dance card. So these coincidences are predestined to a certain extent. What happens is sometimes we don't make it to a dance, but so it might take a bit more time before you meet the person that's on your dance card, but they're on the dance card and ready to dance.
That's really, really beautiful. And, I just had a really beautiful reading from my spiritual guide, Melissa Fremantle. And she was talking to me about where I'm at in my life at the moment is this beautiful dance. As you dance, you leave an impression. And if you listen to the vibration of your own heart, your own journey, you're flowing with your natural rhythm. And I think that ties in beautifully with what you were saying about connecting with people for a reason, season, and lifetime. And if we flow and we listen to our own rhythm, then we're divinely guided and we flow in beautiful harmony with everyone around us. I love that Chinese saying. That's really beautiful. Thanks for sharing that, Foon.
Oh, my pleasure. And it also relates to romantic partners. There's a an idea called the old man sitting under the moon, and he has a book with everybody's name in, and he match makes people.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, well, I'm going to ask you a question on that. But before I do, do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do? Because to me, they're different. Who we are is on a soul level, and what we do is how we kind of put our soul's destiny into physical reality. So, you know, who are you, Foon, and what do you do?
I love the question of, you know, who am I? Because that's the question I've had to ask myself at various stages in my life. When I was a child, I was my parents' daughter, I was a granddaughter, and a lot of my upbringing was shaped by being sort of what other people expected me to be. And then I worked for a big company. I was a corporate employee in banking, and but that's not really me. But that was different parts of my identity. Who I am today, it's a bit like in the Kung Fu Panda movie. I've only gradually beginning to really get who I am. And next time you ask me this question, I might give a different answer. So who I am is someone who loves to help other people, who loves to understand the universal energy of life, which Chinese people call qi. And who I am is somebody who also wants to thrive and find this sense of freedom.
Wonderful. So your heartbeat is the same as our academies, which is beautiful. That's really awesome. One of the things we wanted to ask you about today, Foon, is your work as an astrologist and the work that you do around that. I know a lot of people think they know what it is. So for me, we all have a head understanding and a heart or a soul knowing. Now, I think the head understanding sometimes thinks about astrology and the stars and horoscopes, and you know, we kind of have like a superficial society has told us what astrology is, but then the soul knows what it really is on a deeper level. So I'm wondering if you don't mind sharing a little bit about what the soul meaning is behind what you do with your astrology work.
Okay, yes, I'd love to do that, Connie. So I'm a Chinese astrologer. I'm also a feng shui master, and the two are quite closely connected. But let's talk about astrology first. So the moment you're born, that first breath that you take, it sets up a pattern for your character and for your destiny. In what we know as the sun signs in Western astrology, for instance, you're a Taurus, that pattern and the system for that pattern is determined by a chart that's drawn according to the positions of the planets. So that's the Western sun sign system. In the Chinese astrology system, the common theme is the moment of the first breath. And using that same moment of the first breath, we draw up a different type of chart. And that chart is mainly determined by the position of the sun. And that chart is known as a 4 pillars chart. And how we articulate or express a 4 pillar chart is with animals and elements. But those animals and elements are not your soul. They are like, I call it any sort of astrology chart. I would say it's like a job description, or perhaps a life, or perhaps a life description for this lifetime on Earth. So at any moment, there are a lot of people born with the same chart. But it's all different souls, because the different souls in different bodies. So I describe it as, if you if you show up at on Earth, it's like turning up for your first day at work, and you walk through the doors and you have a job description, and there could be a lot of people with the same job description, and there's obviously in the same company different people with different job descriptions.
Sure.
So how each soul's experience is like how each person does their job. And if your soul understands the contract, which is the astrology chart, and how to fulfill that contract, then that is very much more in the flow. Sometimes we arrive sorry, pardon me. Sometimes we arrive and we get our contract, our astrology chart, and it takes us a while to figure things out on the job, as it were.
Sure.
And that's how your soul grows. You might even think you didn't sign up for this contract. We all tend to think that when we hit obstacles or when things don't go quite right, we think, did I really sign up for this? Did I choose those parents? Did I choose those siblings?
Yes.
But it's all part of, the whole purpose of the soul in the Chinese view of the world is to learn and grow and to upgrade for the next lifetime.
Mm-hmm. So how would we find out what our soul's contract is? Would we reach out to you and say, can you please help me with my soul contract? Because I think a lot of my clients ask me, well, what is my purpose? Like, why am I here? And I always say to them, the reason why we're here is because we're a human being, a spiritual being having a human experience. And I know for myself, what I've been told, my soul's journey this lifetime is to learn to experience the magic, the completion and the love of who I am, that deep sense of love of self. So if I'm understanding what you're saying correctly, that would be my soul's lesson, and I would grow through various contracts that I have chosen. But how would I know what my contracts are? Would it be through connecting with someone like you?
Yes, it would. Because what we do in a life reading is understand what sort of energies are coming at different times of your life, and when you understand that, you can be prepared. So in a reading, it's not so much about, people often think of readings about predicting the future.
Yes.
But it's really about helping you prepare for the future, so that you're empowered and that you can do something about it. If I talk about my own personal experience, planning doesn't come naturally to me. I have to. I'm very much more of a spontaneous person, so I have to kind of put some effort in to plan and think ahead. And and about us connecting now, I've kind of emerged from a period in my life where I was disappearing and hiding, and I kind of beat myself up a little bit for that. But the more I beat myself up, the more I wanted to hide.
Yes. I see myself in you.
But what's happening now is I can I now really recognize that was a time I had to go through, and to be more accepting. More accepting of that. So I feel quite often people like myself who help people with astrology and who study astrology is because we need to learn the most.
Yes.
So in a reading, so the reading is about helping you prepare. It's about helping you understand your life purpose and also the timing for that, so that we know what to do when, and also when sort of not to try too hard, and and being in the flow sometimes means accepting that where you are right now might not be where you want to be, but but it's like planning your journey. So instead of just going with the sat nav, which is what I tend to do, it's looking at the map and understanding that there are going to be roadworks ahead, and so when things slow down or stop, to be able to maneuver around those roadblocks. So a reading helps you understand timing for different things, when to push ahead and when to ease back.
Yeah, I mean that's really interesting. And one of the questions that the Academy's members had for you was this idea of relationships. So if we could go back to the old man on the porch, I mean, if you're thinking about the question was about, there were a few questions, but how do we know that the person we're with is the right person for us? They are Mr. Right. Let's say, for example, you're looking for a man, so they're Mr. Right. How do we know that we're dancing with this person for our lifetime, or whether we're dancing with them just because, using your words, let's say, for example, this, because I believe that we learn from each of the people in our lives, of course, and our soul grows, using your words, from each of the relationships that we have, whether they're intimate or a person. All relationships are intimate, but let's say physically intimate or not, and whether they're part of our contract, or are like, how would we know if we need to move on from our existing partner or move towards another partner without running away? So there's either going towards something or running away from something. Now, there's a lot of questions in there, I'm aware.
Okay. Well, a 4 pillars full life reading is something that can really help you understand relationships in life, because in relationships we exercise choice. So to pick up on running away from or and running towards, what happens is when we look at a full birth chart, we see there are different elements in that birth chart. And in Chinese astrology, somebody who is a good match for you will be somebody who helps your energies flow in your birth chart.
Can you say that again, please? Because that is so powerful. Guys, if you're listening, I hope you've got your notes with you. Finn, I always encourage the Academy members to have their journals with them and always write down. So I'm taking my notes. So guys, if you're listening, I hope you're taking your notes as well. Foon, can you just repeat what you just said? And I would write it down, guys. This is really, really powerful. So you said somebody who's good for you is?
Somebody whose 4 pillars Chinese astrology chart is compatible with yours, and so that your they help you, the energies in your chart flow.
Yeah. And how do you know if that person is helping your energies flow? I feel it in my body, you know, like there's that heaviness about a conversation or about a person. But how would you describe knowing that there's that flow of energy between you?
Well, one easy way is, so the conversation is you don't have to think about what you're saying. You say it, the other person gets you. That's the best way I can think of describing it. You don't have to keep explaining yourself. Is a kind of physical way that can happen. But a way to kind of check that is when you look at the birth charts to see the compatibility, to have two charts together and to see the compatibility. And to pick up on your earlier point about how do I know if somebody is a reason, a season, or a lifetime, what happens in our charts is as we grow and we can grow and change through choice, but there's also, if you like, in our contracts, different assignments or different phases of energies coming in at different times.
Yes.
So it's a bit like if you were to turn up at work, they'll say, oh, today we need you to make a trip to the States,
Sure.
something like that. So and sometimes somebody is a good match for us for a certain part of our lifetime, and sometimes some people meet somebody where, as each soul grows and changes, the contracts are nicely matched throughout the whole lifetime. And sometimes for some of us, we need to have different partners at different times, because our energies, our charts, our contracts, and also our souls are changing throughout life.
So do you think that we are, as spiritual beings, I've heard this from a few people before, spiritual people have said to me that it's okay not to be married to someone for the rest of your life. We don't have to, till death do us part. It's okay. We're not designed to be monogamous, is the word I was looking for, because if you're not flowing, if you're not growing, then you're not fulfilling your contract. Could I say?
Well, what used to happen in pardon me, in the olden days was death do us part usually happened to people in their 40s.
Okay.
Yes,
sure.
Because people, some people did live long lives, but today, compared to olden days, people didn't. People live a lot longer, till death. So in the olden days, till death do us part was also partly to protect the more vulnerable in society, which is a good thing. And now we have different ways of protecting the vulnerable. Death do us part, for some people, it might be that in this lifetime they have the perfect match throughout their life, and that's wonderful. For some people, it might be thinking about the world we live in, that perhaps in a previous lifetime it would have been death do us part, but maybe in a more modern setting it's just time to part, and the death is in the relationship, not in the partner. And so for different people there could be different partners at different times of life.
Yeah, and what is the astrology's point of view on having more than one partner at a time, or let's say, for example, cheating on your partner?
Yeah. Well,
in inverted commas, being unfaithful.
That's quite an interesting idea, because in ancient China, which was a very patriarchal society, rich men would have several wives. Even in my own family history, I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
And in Europe as well, the mistresses.
Sure.
So it was always so the idea of being unfaithful kind of in the olden days only applied one way.
Yes. Yes.
So if we look at life today, there are still mistresses. It's, you know, it happens. People have affairs. It happens, and if we put aside kind of the rules, as it were,
Yes.
then for some people, you know, if their partner has an affair, it isn't the end of the relationship. For some people, it is, because different people have their own values.
Sure.
So astrology, the system of astrology has been around throughout all the different rules that society has imposed. And even today in some countries, you know, I know you live in Paris. In France, the attitude towards affairs is laissez-faire, shall we
Oui,
say.
c'est ça. C'est ça, oui. It's one of the reasons why I'm asking, is because it's a new way of thinking, these new rules. So so laissez-faire, we continue. Rules depending on in different countries. Sorry, Foon, continue.
Yeah. So having so astrology is about the contract for your soul, the energies. And if you're right, astrology doesn't do judgment. Astrology doesn't do right or wrong, but we need to apply our own sense of right and wrong to how we live our life. So you know, because we're empowered, we have choices. So for instance, the question of having an affair, if your astrology chart shows that you're somebody who's very flirtatious, you still have a choice as to whether or not you take action to have that affair. But so astrology won't judge you for being right or wrong for having an affair. It will just show whether your chart is somebody, you could say, who attracts a lot of interest, which is, you know, a good thing.
Sure.
And you always have choice and free will as to how to act.
Yeah, this is really good. I'm writing down lots of notes. So, you know, for me, everything that we're doing in the academy at the moment is about living in freedom, in the space of freedom. And what I like about what you're saying is it ties into what I'm feeling about how we have a contract that we choose. Is that correct? For a particular lifetime.
Yeah.
And that contract is kind of like a guide to explain in a way our human characteristics and behaviors, but our soul is still in there uncovering the soul value. So I've spoken a bit about in the academy about the difference between the core values that come from your soul. So let's say, for example, you're a flirtatious person. So the contract and your chart says you're quite flirtatious. So I'm quite flirtatious, actually. It's interesting that you mentioned that. Like, you're obviously picking up my energy. Because I'm quite outgoing and I love people, and I'm South African. Well, I'm South African. I don't know if that's my chart, but South Africans are very affectionate. We hug and we touch people when we're talking to them. So that would be part of my contract. But my soul has a core value of integrity, of connection, and of wanting magic and playfulness. So it's about breathing out my core values without physically taking it one step further. Let's say, for example, would that be how you could explain it with a personal example?
Yes, and a good way of explaining that was, you know, in the hospital where you were born, there would have been another baby born around the same time with your chart, but they won't have your soul. So whilst your soul is about, let's just pick one word that is about integrity, that other baby's soul at the spawn at the same time might be might be a soul that hasn't had as many lifetimes experiences as yours. So maybe that other baby with the same chart, maybe for their soul for this lifetime, it might be about something else other than integrity. It might be about
choice or commitment,
or determination.
Sure.
So with the same, so I always say there's one chart and many lives. So you within the chart you have there's a lot of different ways of living your life. The important thing is understanding your contract so that you maximize and you maximize your potential at different times, and you understand what you're doing and when, and you feel fulfilled because you understand why you're here and what your purpose is. So your soul purpose, Connie, is integrity, and you have the contract with your particular chart, and there'll be other souls which also and maybe your tribe is attracting people whose theme is integrity, but who have different contracts, so they have different ways of expressing their values. So understanding, so understanding your soul, and then the chart, the astrology reading helps you with the contract of understanding kind of when and what's the best way of fulfilling your contract. And if you're also unsure of your purpose, the astrology chart can also help guide you towards that.
So what would you say my purpose is, if you could make it up?
I'd have to look at your and what as well as having a personal chart reading, one of the great things about technology is everybody can get their chart for free and have remember you downloaded the did you download the app for the Chinese Destiny Stars astrology app? It's for
that you shared on the group.
Yes. And
yes.
Did I share I can't remember if I shared my horoscopes or if I shared the app.
It was the horoscopes.
Yes, that's right. The app was underneath the horoscope, so everyone can download the app for free, and you can see the chart, and you can also get a reading within the app, and those readings are from an ancient Chinese book. We love our ancient Chinese stuff, but it's been translated for modern life with notes. And this system by Master Ghost Valley has been around for hundreds of years, and people have been quite amazed with how his poems describe people's lives. So it'd be fascinating to see if it makes sense, if it's meaningful for people, for your lovely tribe.
I'm definitely going to encourage everyone who's listening to download the app. When I share it on Facebook, Foon, what I'll do is I'll add the link to that free app and also your details, because I know it would be really amazing for us to all of us who are listening to get a reading, so that we can understand. Because for me, like I was saying, it's all about living in freedom. And from what I'm hearing you say is, according to astrology, freedom is 1, understanding your soul, and 2, understanding your contract, so that you know when Lots of things are going to be taking place, and how to best deal with them in the best way to fulfill that particular contract. So when we're fulfilling our contract, would you say we're in the flow and we're living in that space of freedom? What would freedom be for you?
I would say yes, if you're fulfilling pardon me,
Bless you.
if you're living in freedom, it means you're in flow, and being in flow can sometimes mean accepting things are not exactly as you would like them, because further ahead there'll be, if you like, easier times. The Chinese view of how an astrology life reading helps is it helps you be more at peace with those times when things are not quite as you would expect, because it's a bit kind of like, oh, okay, it's after 5 o'clock now, so there's no point phoning up the dentist because they've all gone home, so I'll phone tomorrow.
Okay.
So it's kind of understanding when to take action, when to ease off, and to kind of be with kind of the freedom comes with knowing or being with, this is where I am right now, and things will change. So the freedom means, for me personally, it means not being attached to a particular outcome. When I was younger, I was very good at attaching myself to a particular outcome, and when I got it, I would be, now I feel free, now I've got the freedom. But that's actually, freedom is more about being with here and now, and accepting life as it is without that attachment. In my own experience, attachment is what kind of takes away the freedom.
Yeah, this is so, I love that which you're saying. It's a theme at the moment that's coming up in my life a lot, and with a few of my clients actually, is this idea of how when you attach to the particular outcome, there is upset. Yeah, I remember 15 years ago, I heard about this concept first through an organization called the Landmark Forum. And I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yeah, but I did a lot of their seminars about it would have been from probably about 15. I spent quite a number of years doing their seminars, but Landmark Forum, because some of my family are Buddhist, the Landmark Forum idea of attachment, they borrowed that from Buddhism.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, there's nothing, I don't believe there's anything new really. I think our souls just awaken that which everyone knows, and we're standing on the shoulders of giants. But one thing that I never forgot was they said upset is an unfulfilled expectation. And an expectation comes from, being attached to a particular outcome. I think that's so powerful. Life is simple. Life is very simple, I say sometimes. If we can understand that, if we're not attached to an outcome, and we're just, like you were saying, being here and now, it's free. Life is free. Even the energy of this conversation is now changed as I just connected with that energy. It's like, what else is there?
Yeah, that's such a wonderful way how you put that, Connie. I really, really like that. And myself, when I did the Landmark Forum, I kind of freed myself of attachments, and then other things happened, and somehow I managed to get into an attachment state for a number of years, which I'm kind of emerging out of. But I feel it's important for me to have, now that I'm out of it, to have been through that. So if I'm helping people, I'm not just talking about it. I can say, well, you know what, I did this really stupid, crazy thing of being so attached, and I really and I now know how not to do it.
Yeah, that's so true, and that's what I say to my tribe always. Is I say, I'm here with you. You know, we're walking together. You're walking with me. You know, I don't know any more than you. My soul is just has different lessons to like yours, Foon, and we're learning from each other, and we're growing with each other. And I think when we not attached to a particular value or a judgment or a right or a wrong, it's just wow, this interview has been great. Thank you so much for everything you've been teaching me, and I know my tribe as well.
No, this is such a wonderful reminder, and also to you know, you mentioning about the landmark forum. It's almost like sometimes I feel there's stuff I've learned, and we forget over time. Life gets in the way.
Yeah, it's so true, isn't it? Okay, well, just in completion, Foon, before I ask you to give us some of your details, so that we can, you know, connect with you after the interview. What would you say is one thing that we could do every day to connect with a sense of freedom within us? Is there a daily practice that you use? Because in the academy, I'm always talking about how, you know, one thing I say to people is at the absolute minimum is connect with yourself for 3 minutes every morning, just connecting with that core value, that core authenticity. So that would be, if I were to choose one thing, I would encourage my tribe to do that. But is there a particular ritual or daily practice that you have that you think is so important to understanding your contract, to understanding your soul, to learning the best way to fulfill your contract so you can be in the flow of your freedom?
Over the years, I've tried lots of different things. One of the things which I've started doing recently, which I'd like to share, is when I look in the mirror first thing in the morning, I tell myself that I love and approve of myself. And I know a lot of people tell themselves they love themselves. Recently, I've realized I need that approval as well. So so I give that to myself. I've just started doing that every day, to tell myself that I approve. That I approve of myself, especially if the day before things didn't go according to plan, and to start each day with a sense of approval, and being sort of being grateful that you know, I've got another chance, another day, and I approve of myself.
I think that's so important. You know, Louise Hay talks about, people call me a little Louise Hay because I absolutely love her. Certified to you know, teach her methods, and I just love her. She's amazing, and she talks about mirror work, which is one of the things. And a great affirmation she recommends is, I love, honor, accept, and approve of all of who I am. And for me, the biggest one is the, like you were saying, the acceptance and the approval and the honoring. I think we're getting there, but like you say, to truly accept and approve of when you are in the attachment, or when you're doing something wrong. For me, it's self-criticism. I beat myself up for not being the perfect person. And to be in that space of, you know what, it's okay. I accept you. I accept you for not being perfect is freeing.
Yeah. That I'm very much a perfectionist myself, myself as well. So it's great to hear you say that, because that affirmation is just something I've started doing recently, because before that I was very much kind of feeling I had to do my meditation every morning. Had to, perfectionist coming up. And sometimes life happens and you don't get that. Whereas looking in the mirror, you do that every morning, so there's no escape. So that's something I've just started doing. So I feel really happy to share that. And I first came across Louise Hay, probably more than 20 years ago, and read her book at a time when I was going through a bit of a crisis in my life. And it's wonderful to hear that you're a mini Louise.
Yeah, you'll love my new book. It's all about, there's a lot of Louise in it. Okay, well, Foon, thank you so much for your time. We really, really do appreciate it. And it's been not only fun, it's been awakening, which is really awesome. So thank you for that. Before we complete, what is the best way that we can reach out to you? If we're looking for, you said you do feng shui and you do astrology. How could we reach out to you if we're looking for any of that?
Okay, well, you can reach out to me on my website. So the easiest website is Feng Shui Apps, FENGSHUI apps.com. So you can reach out to me there. I also have the Facebook group Love Feng Shui Club. That's for people who are new to feng shui, and I share kind of tips there on things you can do in your home. And so sometimes just creating a nice surrounding in our homes and doing a little tip. So I'm actually going to post. I'm due to post a tip for this month in there.
Great.
So you can join the Love Feng Shui Club on Facebook. You can also follow me on Twitter or Pinterest or Instagram. And on all those, I'm known as Feng Shui Foon.
Ah, okay. Feng Shui Foon. Okay, cool. I'll share all of those on the Thrive page, on Thrive Being You.
Connie, I just want to say thank you so much. It's been such a wonderful conversation, and it's been you interviewing me, but I feel I've gained such a lot just from being in the same conversation as you. Thank you.
No, it's my absolute pleasure. It's the infinity, the infinity sign. I really do connect with it. It's that flow of energy between you and me, and where, like you were saying, is what were your words? People that help our energies flow are gifts. So thank you for being a gift in my life today.
Oh, thank you for the gift you've given me of having the opportunity to talk and share. It's been wonderful.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. And, Foon will be in our group, those of you who are listening, and feel free to reach out with her. Feel free to reach out to Foon via the Facebook group, Thrive Being You. So that could be another way that you could reach out to Foon. Thank you so much for your time, Foon, and we'll connect soon. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.